So, we've all heard about people with weird addictions. Well, today I'm going to talk about mine. I have recently developed an addiction to credit cards and just signing up for a whole bunch of different credit card accounts with all these different credit card companies. 1 year ago, I opened up my first credit card, and now I have 5 credit card accounts. How did I get there? I don't even know. It's just I just developed this hobby of collecting credit cards and having fun, maximizing rewards, and just having a good time. It's a weird thing. Everyone kind of just, I think everyone has a weird hobby that they have. For me, credit cards is definitely the weirdest one that I got. And it started like I was always apprehensive towards credit cards most of my life. I'm like, I'm afraid. I don't want to get into credit card debt because there's so many people where that happens. Like, where I guess the temptation is too strong and they end up maxing out all their cards, buying all this dumb shit they don't need, going on trips or whatever. To be fair, there are a lot of people that max out their cards just because they need to in order to survive. Like, they don't have enough money in their bank account to buy food. So I just didn't want to have any credit cards at all because I did not want to, like, owe my life to a credit card company and to debt collectors. Like, I did not want to live my life like that. So I'm like, I'm just going to put everything on a debit card. I don't ever want a credit card ever. I'm never going to get one. But then as I got older, I'm like, when you're 18, 19, 20, you don't really think about getting a mortgage or even a car loan. You don't really think about the importance of having good credit and how you might actually need it in your future. Well, when I became 25 last year, I'm like, it's time. So I signed up for my first credit card, the Discover It cashback card, which I didn't need a credit score. I got instantly approved. It's like a good beginner card. So if you are someone new getting into credit cards, I highly recommend it. It has this really good sign up bonus where after your first year of earning cash back, so whatever you earn, they will match it. So for me, I got about $150 in cash back because it was the only card I used because it was my first credit card. And I ended up getting $150 on top of the $150 I already earned. So they double your cash back. It's essentially 2% cash back on everything and 10% cash back on the revolving categories, which every quarter it's a different one. I think they've had Amazon before as a category. They had like Google Pay purchases in a previous quarter. This quarter is actually a really useful one. It's gas from April to June, so it's actually almost over, sadly, because I benefited a lot from that benefit. But it's a really good card. Discover's a really good company. I don't know how it's going to work out with Capital One buying them and what's going to happen with that shit, but highly recommend that. But I'm like, you know what? I need more cards. I need a second card is really what happened. So a few months ago, I think it was like 10 months after I got my first card, I decided to sign up for the American Express Blue Cash Everyday, which had a $200 sign-up bonus if you spent $2,000 within your first 6 months of having the card. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's my normal spending, $2,000 in 6 months, so I'm not going over it just to hit the bonus, because there are a lot of people that do that. They see the sign-up bonus and they just spend all this money that they otherwise would not spend, and they actually end up losing money as a result of that. But I'm like, yeah, $2,000 easy. Plus, I had a vacation that I was booking a hotel with Expedia. It was exactly $2,000. Put that right in to my American Express, and I already hit the sign-up bonus, so I'm going to get an extra $200. And it has really useful categories, 3% cash back on groceries, 3% cash back on gas, so that when Discover doesn't have the gas bonus anymore, or, I can switch to the American Express. And also 3% back, this is the most useful one, 3% back on all online shopping, because I shop at a lot of websites that aren't Amazon. All of them, doesn't matter. Any online shopping, 3% back. I've been getting a lot of rewards with my Amex card, a lot of cash back. But then I'm like, you know what? I need to expand my horizons even more. I need to open up even more cards. So last month I decided to open up 3 new credit cards within a week. I applied to 3 credit cards in 1 week and got approved for all of them. I got approved for the Chase Freedom Flex card, which is similar to the Discover It, where you get 5% cash back on different categories every quarter. But this quarter is really good. It's restaurants and Amazon purchases, 5% cash back. Sign me the fuck up. Plus, it's always 3% cash back on dining, restaurants, so I'm always going to get that no matter what. And the funny thing, and the cool thing is, 5% back on restaurants is this quarter, and it's always 3% cash back, so they combine. Not 8% for whatever reason, but 7%. I'm like, 7% back on restaurants? Hell yeah! I didn't even know that until I already had the card. So I've been saving a lot of money. Hey, those fast food prices are ridiculous, but that Chase Freedom Flex card really helped me out with that. So I signed up for that, and plus, it was spend $500, get $200 back. I'm like halfway through hitting that sign up bonus, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not done yet. I need more cards. I need to just keep racking up those credit cards and increase my credit card line and decrease my utilization, because credit utilization is a huge part of your credit score. I would have like $1,000 of credit initially, is what I have with my Discover card. I would charge like $900 a month, and it would be 90% utilization. So utilization is an important thing. So I went from having like $3,000 in credit between my first two cards. Now I have $12,000 in credit with my 5 cards, because I got the Discover It, American Express, the Chase Freedom Flex, which I'm like, yeah, I need to have like a non-Discover and non-American Express card, because there are still places that don't take them, and definitely internationally too. No one takes Discover or Amex. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take that MasterCard, that Freedom Flex. But then I saw the Venmo credit card has flexible cash back, like 3% on your top spending category, 2% on your second top spending category, and then 1% on everything else. And they have a wide variety of different categories. There's dining, travel, transportation, so think of like the subway or buses, grocery, gas, whole bunch of different ones. So I'm like, ooh, that's a really good card. So, and I use Venmo anyway, so I'm like, perfect, sign me up, instantly approved for that. And I'm like, I want another card. And I was like, which card should I get? Pre-approved for the Capital One Saver One card. 10% back on Uber. Uber! Hell yeah! So I went with that. The Uber thing's expiring in a few months though, but it still has 3% back on all entertainment. So think of movie theaters, sports venues, that kind of thing. I could definitely get use out of that. It's also 3% back on dining, but I already have that anyway with my Chase card, so that's not very useful. But the entertainment, and also 3% back on streaming. I have a lot of streaming services, so that's another thing. I'm just obsessed with maximizing my cashback opportunity, getting as many rewards as possible, and I wanted more cards too. I went even crazier. I applied for the Wells Fargo card, the Active Cash, which is 2% back on everything, and it also had a really nice sign-up bonus, and also applied for the Citi Custom Cash, which is 5% back on any category you choose. I'm like, ooh, gimme, I want those cards. Got denied for both of them, because it got to the point where I opened up too many recent accounts, and that is a red flag for pretty much any credit issuer. So I'm shit out of luck for the next year or two. My credit card hobby's going to kind of take a hiatus, or at least, as far as getting new credit cards. But I want like 10, 15 credit cards when I'm done at the end of the day. Like, I really want as many cards as possible, because it's fun. Honestly, like, one thing that I like is pulling out my wallet and taking out all my credit cards and just having a deck of credit cards in my hand. Like, I play with them all day. It's so fun. Yeah, there's something wrong with me, definitely. But I will say this. I do not carry a balance, ever. And my point is not to just max out all these different cards and to give myself, like, more opportunity to max my shit out and spend more money than I already do. I'm still spending the same amount, but now different categories for different cards based on the cashback. So as long as you do it smart, as long as you spend money that you have. I also like with the credit cards that you can pay it off as you go. You don't have to wait for the statement balance to come through. You just pay whenever you're ready. Like, let's say it takes like maybe 2 or 3 days for the charge to go through, so you can pay it on immediately. You don't have to like have all that shit hit you at once, and you have to pay it. Like, no, you can pay it as much as you want, as frequently as you want. You can like make like 10 payments a month if you want to. So that's what I love about the credit cards, is how easy it is to pay them off, and as long as you keep an eye on it. Actually, I will say, like, I've been managing my money better with these cards, because I have a better understanding of how much money I'm spending in these different categories, and I think I'm actually managing my money better as a result. For example, let's say, because the Capital One card is entertainment and streaming. Okay, so my statement at the end of the month, this is how much money I'm spending on my Capital One card. this is how much money I'm spending on entertainment and streaming. And then I look at my Chase card. It's restaurants right now that I'm spending all that money on. Okay, this is how much I'm spending on restaurants and eating out. Okay, Discover, this is how much I'm spending on gas, which, you can't really control. Gas is gas. It's going to be what it's going to be. You can't really, decide to spend less money on gas. So that's one thing that, it is what it is. And then Venmo, I kind of just have that. Utilities is another category. I paid off my Mint Mobile bill for like $200 for 1 year of service. Mint Mobile's great, by the way. I highly recommend it. So I got 3% off on that. So I'm just, it's a great money manager if you use it effectively. If you use it responsibly, it's just like anything. And it took me a long time to learn that, but I'm glad that I finally did. I didn't wait until I was 30 to get my first credit card, and my credit score took a huge hit in the short term. I had a 760, now I have a 700 because of all the inquiries and all the newly opened accounts. So my age of credit went from like a year to 3 months because of all the new cards I opened. But in the long term, it's going to be a good thing. Having that lower utilization, having more lines of credit, more credit history. So I'm thinking the long game here. And plus I'm getting more cash back than I would have had before. So it's all great. Highly recommend credit cards if you don't have one. If you're an adult and you're thinking about it, you should definitely get into it as soon as possible. It'll help you and benefit your life.